Welcome back to the channel. The Veil episode 5, Grandfather's House, just dropped. This episode really screams complicated. Adela and Imogen relationship here is just super complicated. They're are very similar. So before I get into the actual episode, be warned, there will be spoilers. So if you haven't watched, take a look at the episode and then come back and watch this. All right. The episode opens up and there's obviously more shenanigans from Adela, and she steals away from the apartment. A motorcyclist comes to the apartment and basically swaps out with Adela so she can leave with a bike, and Imogen is out cold from the night before. The last episode, we saw that Imogen was reading all the files the night before, so she's out cold, and everyone's upset because Adela slipped out. So Adela is in a pickle. The people she's working with think she's gone to work for the Americans, and so Amir, who is the guy who Adela's been dropping bits and pieces of communication. So she sits with him, and he's basically like, "We need you to prove that you haven't gone to the other side, and if you don't cooperate, that they will kill your daughter in as you watch." Obviously, the people that she's working with are ruthless. So now Adela must prove her loyalty, and they want Adela to kill Imogen, and she has to do it to prove that she is not working with the Americans. So she says that she will do this at her grandfather's house, but she's asked Amir to find someone else to kill Imogen. Before they leave, Amir gives Adela a detonator. Now there's a citywide search for Adela. Max Peterson is he's got to be like my favorite because he's so feisty and so rude, and just he's basically done waiting and watching and is ready to do what he should have done in the beginning, which is to capture Adela and torture her for information. So the plan is to grab her child, and use Adela's child as leverage to bring Adela in and torture her and get the information out of her. Imogen is feeling like she's failed, and but so are the Americans and the French. Imogen goes ahead and meets with Adela, and Imogen went ahead and told Adela that the Americans are going to kidnap her daughter because they are done with the game of hide and seek, but that she is willing to help get them both new identities and out of Paris. As Imogen is pleading with Adela to go with her to England, she notices a guy off to the side approaching her with a knife, and Imogen pulls a gun on Adela. The plan to kill Imogen didn't go off at all. Meanwhile, the Americans find out that the daughter got extracted. The Americans and the French, and they are both in search of Imogen. And Imogen is trying to get Adela, again pleading with her to come clean about who the target is. Somehow Imogen got Adela's daughter out of Paris and on her way to England. So now Imogen is using her daughter. Now, this scene at the end, I just want to talk a little bit about it because it's complicated. There's a lot of, it's not everything is black and white here. And we see that in the very last scene with Adela and Imogen, because Imogen is saying that she wants to help Adela, and so she takes her daughter and gets her out of Paris. But then she turns around and does what the Americans want to do, which is use the daughter as leverage to get Adela to spill. And so basically Imogen is doing the very thing that the Americans want to do. Adela calls her out on it and basically says, you're all the same. You want to be heroes and you want to get rid of people. There's this interesting exchange about how none of this is so black and white, and Adela believes her and Imogen are the same. And it's probably one of the most tense scenes of the season, because Adela basically recounts all the things that Imogen has lost and is not far off from Adela and in the choices that she made. And so it's just a very thick scene, and it makes me think about how not everything is black and white. And so we'll see what happens in the next episode. That is the recap. Clearly, Imogen is trying her damnedest to get Adila to spill, and Adila just won't budge. She has not budged. And so we'll see what happens in the next episode. This was solid. I do feel like there's this point where we have these agencies in shows where it seems like they don't know how to do their job. Really frustrating to see. Most definitely very realistic. Let me know what you think, and we will talk to you next week.